This hotel is still full of secrets, and what you know is only the tip of the iceberg. I like to call it the world of ghosts. Elisa Lam isn't the only mystery here. You've got Jack Underwigger, the Black Dahlia. The list goes on, and trust me, we'll get to all of them later. These are stories about people and events that are so bizarre, your mind can't quite grasp them, and cameras could never fully capture the truth. So many crimes remain unsolved. Today, we're taking you to Los Angeles, to the Stay on Main Hotel, or as it was famously and infamously known, the Cecil Hotel. This is part of our series on true crime, and this place is the setting for one of the strangest, most haunting mysteries I have ever read about. It all started on January 26, 2013. A 21-year-old Canadian tourist named Elisa Lam checked into the Cecil Hotel in downtown Los Angeles. She was on a solo trip, exploring the West Coast, but her trip would take a dark turn. On February 19th, 18 days after she was last seen, Elisa Lam's body was discovered. She was found naked, floating inside a massive 4 by 8 foot water tank on the roof of the very hotel where she was staying. It sounds absolutely horrifying, doesn't it? And you want to know what led to this gruesome discovery? It wasn't a police search, not initially. Hotel guests had been complaining for days about low water pressure. One couple even reported after the fact that the water would sometimes come out black before clearing up. They said it had a strange, foul taste, but they didn't complain at the time. They just figured maybe that's how the water is in Los Angeles. It's hard to imagine, but for over 2 weeks, guests were using water from the tank where her body was decomposing. Now, let's add another layer to this. The hotel manager gave a statement that shed some light on Elisa's final days. When she first checked in, she was placed in a shared hostel-style room with other travelers. However, she was quickly moved to a private room on the same floor. Why? Her roommates had complained about her strange behavior. What that behavior was, we don't know for sure, but it was enough to get her moved. The real mystery, the part that has captivated and terrified millions, comes from the last time anyone ever saw her alive. That last sighting was captured on a grainy surveillance camera inside one of the hotel's elevators. This footage is the stuff of nightmares. In the video, Elisa enters the elevator and presses multiple buttons. The doors don't close. She then peeks out into the hallway, cautiously, as if she's hiding from someone. She darts back into the corner of the elevator, trying to make herself small. It looks like someone is chasing her, but then her actions get even stranger. She steps back out of the elevator and stands just outside. If someone were really chasing you, you probably wouldn't step out into the open like that, would you? And then there are her hands. She starts moving her hands in this bizarre, unnatural way, almost like she's contorting her fingers. It doesn't look human. All this time, the elevator doors remain inexplicably open. It's as if they're being held. At one point, she seems to be talking to someone, not directly in front of her, but maybe down the hall. But here's the thing, there's no one there. The camera shows an empty hallway. The footage is deeply unsettling, and while it's our biggest clue, it doesn't give us any concrete answers. What it does do, however, is fuel a ton of theories. Let's start with the most logical one. One theory suggests she was experiencing some kind of psychosis or hallucination. We know that Elisa had been diagnosed with bipolar disorder and depression. She was reportedly prescribed 4 different medications to manage her condition. So this theory proposes she had a severe psychotic episode. But it was quickly challenged when the toxicology reports came back from her autopsy. They found no illegal drugs or alcohol in her system. The only things present were her prescription medications, but only at therapeutic levels, nothing that would indicate an overdose or a cause for such extreme behavior. Still, a severe manic or depressive episode from her bipolar disorder could definitely explain why she acted the way she did in the elevator. Another theory is that she was murdered. Someone assaulted her and put her in that tank to hide the body. But this theory also hit a wall. The autopsy showed no signs of physical trauma on her body. No bruises, no cuts, no evidence of a struggle. There was also no evidence of sexual assault. So if the evidence points away from a crime and drugs have been ruled out, many people are left wondering, what could have possibly driven Eliza to climb into that water tank all by herself? And that is a very valid question, because logistically, it seems almost impossible. No one knows how she even got up to the roof. To get there, Eliza would have had to go through a locked door that was armed with an alarm. The hotel staff said that alarm never went off. The only other way would be to climb one of the fire escapes on the side of the building. To do that, she would have had to get out through a window. Once on the roof, she would have faced another challenge, the water tanks. She would have had to climb a 10-foot ladder to get to the top of the tank she was found in. Then she would have had to open a heavy 20-pound lid. After somehow getting inside the tank, that heavy lid would have had to be closed again from the outside. The maintenance worker who found her said the lid was closed when he got there. And remember, she was found naked. Her clothes, the same ones she was wearing in the elevator video, were found inside the tank with her, covered in a sandy substance. Does it seem plausible that she did all of this by herself in the dark, in a state of psychosis? It's highly suspicious. This leads us to the most popular, and let's face it, the most chilling theory, that it was a ghost. People who analyze the elevator video frame by frame are convinced she's interacting with something supernatural. They believe she was talking to the ghost of the infamous serial killer, Richard Ramirez, also known as the Night Stalker. Ramirez was convicted of 13 murders and stayed at the Cecil Hotel for several weeks back in 1984, and 1985, it said he would return to the hotel covered in blood after his crimes, and no one batted an eye. It's also worth noting that Ramirez was a self-proclaimed Satanist. So is it possible that this place is haunted, and that a dark energy could push people to do very crazy things? There are paranormal investigators and so-called ghost experts who have published studies on the Cecil Hotel. They claim to have recordings of objects moving on their own and video footage of strange apparitions. Just imagine having ghost expert on your business card. It's terrifying. And believe me, Elisa's story is just the tip of the iceberg for the Cecil. In 1991, it was home to another serial killer, the Austrian journalist Jack Unterweger, who murdered several sex workers while staying there. The hotel was the site of an unsolved murder in 1964, and according to some accounts, it was one of the last places Elizabeth Short, famously known as the Black Dahlia, was seen alive before her horrific murder in 1947. To make matters even worse, there have been so many accounts of people jumping to their deaths from the hotel as windows and roof that longtime residents started calling the hotel the suicide. This place has a history soaked in death and despair. So with all of this information, what was the official conclusion for Elisa Lam? After months of investigation, the authorities officially ruled her death an accidental drowning, with her bipolar disorder being a significant contributing factor. They concluded that she had a psychotic episode, managed to get to the roof, climbed into the tank, and drowned. But do you really think that's the truth? Does accidental drowning truly explain the locked door, the heavy lid, the strange elevator video, and the hotel's sinister history? Or is there something more to the story that we're not being told? That's what we're going to explore in our next video. We'll dive deeper into the inconsistencies and unanswered questions. Make sure you follow us and subscribe to the channel. Let us know what you think in the comments below, and we'll see you next time to try and uncover the truth. Thanks for watching.